Omar Abdullah.
Naya Jammu and Kashmir gets Omar Abdullah Sarkar.
Integrity of India, that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge my duties as Chief Minister for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir.
Big India show of strength in Kashmir. Surprises galore in Team Omar. Congress not in cabinet, but Gandhi's attend.
हमारे को बड़ी खुशी हो गई हमारी अलायंस पार्टनर के नेता ने आज चीफ मिनिस्टर बना बहुत दिन के बाद डेमोक्रेसी यहाँ एस्टैब्लिश हुई है
Only outside support now for National Conference. Trouble in paradise. That is our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Hello and welcome. Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshata Nandagopal, and yes, we'll be getting you all of the highlights from the grand swearing-in ceremony, a historic one that took place in Srinagar this morning as Omar Abdullah took oath as the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. There were a few surprises, a few twists, political ones at that, as the NC's ally, Congress, was left miffed, sulking. They weren't a part of Team Omar. There's no representation of the Congress in the cabinet. There's been a lot of talk that the Congress was pushing for 1 berth, 2 berths. So what exactly happened? We'll tell you in this broadcast. Let's begin, as always, with the headlines. 12 bomb threats to airlines in 72 hours spark concerns. Government takes stock. Home Ministry, Civil Aviation Security Body, Intelligence Bureau hold key meetings. Sources say hoax callers to now be put on a no-fly list. Mahayuti to announce seat-sharing formula in state of war Maharashtra. Fadnavis hints at Shinde as a CM face. Dares Aghadi camp to announce their CM face too. It's the same old story once again in Bengaluru. The city is submerged as heavy rainfall brings India's Silicon City to a grinding halt. Roads and IT parks completely inundated. Apartments too flooded. Schools and colleges remain shut. Amid Muda scam heat and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Muda chairman resigns. Key Sidhu aide steps down, citing health reasons, triggering a political fight. External Affairs Minister names and shames Pakistan at the SCO summit, calls out its terror nexus with China. Jaishankar says the Pakistan-China corridor is against India's sovereignty. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau faces growing pressure from his own party to step down. Trudeau gets support from Five Eyes allies. Pro-Khalistani Canadian leader Jagmeet mocked for seeking sanctions on India. And let's begin by getting you all of the highlights of the historic swearing-in ceremony that took place this morning in Srinagar. Omar Abdullah taking oath as the first Chief Minister of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, along with him, 5 ministers took oath, 4 from the National Conference and 1 independent supporting the NC. So even an independent found a place in the NC government, but surprisingly not the Congress. For the last many days, we've been telling you about talks between the NC and the Congress. Remember that the Congress managed to win only 6 seats. So they weren't really in a position to bargain for a whole lot of berths in the cabinet. They weren't able to clearly pull their weight in this alliance. And that's why the NC for now has kept them out of the cabinet, which means that the Congress now is giving outside support to the Omar government. Let's get you all the details in our report first.
I, Omar Abdullah, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established.
Omar Abdullah takes oath as the first Chief Minister of Naya Jammu and Kashmir, marking his return to power after nearly 16 years. This will be the National Conference leader's second tenure as Chief Minister, but the first since the abrogation of Article 370 and the removal of J&K's statehood. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha administered the oath of office and secrecy to Omar and his ministers. 5 ministers took oath alongside Omar, 4 from the National Conference and 1 independent.
And that I will do right to all manner of people.
Ahead of the ceremony, Omar reiterated his government's commitment to restoring Jammu and Kashmir statehood.
Being a Chief Minister of a union territory is a different matter altogether. It has its own challenges, but I hope that the status of a union territory is a temporary one. We look forward to working in cooperation with Government of India to resolve the people's problems, and the best way to do that would be to start by restoring statehood to Jammu and Kashmir.
Surinder Chaudhary, a prominent National Conference leader from the Jammu region, is the new Deputy CM.
कि नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस वो जमात है, वो पार्टी है जिसने हमेशा करके दिखाया है। आज नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के सामने एक बहुत बड़ा एक ऐसा माहौल हमें दिया गया है जहां 10 सालों का एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का और आम आदमी का गैप है। पहले तो हमें सबसे पहले वो जो आम आदमी और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के बीच में जो गैप है उसको फुलफिल करना है।
National Conference chief and father of the newly elected Chief Minister, Farooq Abdullah, expressed optimism that New Delhi would assist in the smooth functioning of the new government.
अल्लाह करे कि सरकार चले, दिल्ली मदद करे और यहाँ के लोगों की मुश्किलात दूर करे. And I hope this government will do what it had promised in the election manifesto.
India Alliance leaders Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Akhilesh Yadav, Supriya Sule and others attended the swearing-in ceremony. The Congress hasn't joined the new government and has given Omar Abdullah outside support. Congress MLAs opted to skip the oath. This has sparked speculation of a rift between the National Conference and the Congress. Sources tell India Today the Congress's demand for 2 cabinet berths was rejected by the National Conference, which only offered 1.
उनको मुबारकबाद देने के लिए यहाँ आया हूँ। हमारे को बड़ी खुशी हो गई। हमारी अलायंस पार्टनर के नेता ने आज चीफ मिनिस्टर बना। बहुत दिन के बाद डेमोक्रेसी यहाँ एस्टैब्लिश हुई है।
Political leaders from the valley welcomed the formation of the new government.
बहुत सालों के बाद जम्मू कश्मीर को एक अपनी सरकार मिली और जो मैंने पहले भी कहा कि 2019 के बाद जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को बहुत जख्म लगे हैं। बहुत मुश्किलात से जम्मू कश्मीर गुजर रहा है। बड़े चैलेंजेस हैं इस सरकार के सामने और बहुत अच्छा है कि लोगों ने एक मेजॉरिटी दी इस सरकार को, इस अलायंस को।
My all the best wishes for Umar Saab, and let us hope that he will fulfill his agenda. He will try everything to fulfill his agenda, and let me also hope that Modi government will provide full support to Umar Saab, because the issues of Jammu and Kashmir are much bigger than our personal interests, than our ego, than our political agendas.
The principal opposition party, the BJP, called upon the National Conference government to address concerns of Kashmiri Pandits.
जम्मू के साथ नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस की सरकारों में और कांग्रेस की सरकारों में बहुत भेदभाव हुआ है। धर्म और जाति के आधार को छोड़ करके अगर सही तरीके से सरकार बनाने का काम करेंगे तो स्वाभाविक बात है कि केंद्र की तरफ से पूरी सपोर्ट रहेगी।
With Mir Fareed in Srinagar, Bureau Report, India Today.
So what explains this snub by Omar Abdullah to the Congress? Why has the Congress found no place whatsoever in the cabinet, even when an independent has been accommodated? Let's break down several reasons for you. First is, of course, the dismal performance. This has been the worst performance by the Congress in assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir. They contested in 37 seats, won only 6. So they failed to perform or pull their weight in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly in Jammu. Now, the NCU is banking on Congress to really bring in the numbers from Jammu. They failed to do that. If they perform well in Jammu, there was a good chance of them today having even the Deputy CM post, of having a Jammu leader from Congress being the Deputy Chief Minister. That didn't happen because of the 37 seats. They managed to bag only 6. The other issue has been also the fact that the last many days there has been talks, there's been dialogue between the NC and the Congress over who gets what. The Congress has been fighting with everything they have to try and get some berth in the cabinet. It didn't really work, and the talks remained inconclusive. Omar Abdullah made it clear he's not going to wait for them to figure it out. Now, the Congress wanted more than just one berth. Despite getting 6 seats, winning only 6 seats, they said we want 2 to 3 berths in the Omar cabinet. And obviously, Omar Abdullah refused. He put his foot down and said there's no question of that happening. So this was also a question of posturing by the Congress, saying we won't settle for just one berth and we'd rather stay out and give outside support to the Omar government. So it looks like essentially dialogue didn't really work out between NC and Congress. There was no middle ground that was reached. And secondly, also because the NC had an advantage here, because considering that they're the stronger ally and that the Congress failed to perform, they essentially called the shots. Let's get your breaking news that's coming in. And the Congress has confirmed that they will provide support, outside support, to the Omar government. The Congress Jammu and Kashmir President, Tariq Hamid Khara, who was counting and was one of the, in fact, front runners to be a part of that cabinet, considering that he is a senior leader of the Jammu and Kashmir Congress, has said very clearly that we've taken a moral stand and we didn't want to negotiate but wanted to ensure that we work at the same time with the Omar government. They will not be a part of the government is something that the Congress has now confirmed, saying that at this point, this remains our stand. Let's bring in Maushmi Singh as well as Mir Fareed on this broadcast. We also have Pooja Shali joining us live. Mir, if I can come across to you first, do you see a possibility that when there is a cabinet expansion, there could be a Congress inclusion?
Well, yes, that can happen. In fact, Omar Abdullah is on record saying that there is still room for the Congress because he has kept at least 3 ministerial berths empty, open, and there is a chance of maneuvering for a future Congress entry into the government. But as of now, as you rightly said, the Congress has taken a high moral ground, saying that their fight is bigger. They look at the pan-India picture, and in Jammu and Kashmir, if they provide more elbow room or take a couple of steps back, that's not an issue. National Conference can take care of things. But definitely deep inside, there was absolutely no communication between the National Conference and the Congress. The only communication post-results was when the Congress leadership went with the letter of support. They gave it to National Conference, and since there has been absolutely no debate, discussion on this particular issue. National Conference is the bigger ally because they have done very well as far as the results are concerned. They have 42 seats, and then they also got support from the independents. Congress, obviously, the weaker partner, and it seems that it did not have the bargaining power as far as this government is concerned. Another sentiment in the Congress is that since there is no meeting point between the allies when it comes to Article 370, the NC obviously has said that its manifesto has been revolving around Article 370, its campaigning. So that's a major issue. Now on this, the Congress has said that whatever the Supreme Court has decided, they are with it, and this issue is closed for them. So their goalpost is statehood. So it seems that while the Congress thought that if it remains in the government, this could become a sticky issue and it could be used by the BJP as far as Pan-India is concerned. So that seems to be one angle. But yes, 2 Congress ministerial berths initially, the demand. Yeah. The silent demand, I must say, was not accepted by the NC, and they were also absolutely silent. They did not go from their side or say anything or invite Congress as far as this aspect is concerned.
There was clearly, from what you're telling us, Meera, lack of dialogue. But Maushmi, let me bring you in on what the Congress camp is thinking. Let's be very clear that this isn't a good look for the Congress. They're already licking their Haryana wounds. The only silver lining was Jammu and Kashmir. And here too, the messaging that comes across is that their own ally wanted to teach them a lesson for not having pulled their weight in this election.
You know, the Congress would like to see it the other way around, Akshita. You know, Jammu Kashmir has tremendous repercussions as far as the entire country is concerned. There was a ruckus in the parliament during the abrogation of Article 370. Rahul Gandhi took a flight to Srinagar and wasn't allowed to deboard. And in Srinagar, he wanted to assess the situation after the abrogation of Article 370 and a complete clampdown was there. So this has been a very, very politically sensitive, charged up issue, and the BJP government has hardened its stand on this one and showcased its good governance. And that's why I think the Congress leadership chose to tell the state unit to stay away from government formation, is what we are told. We spoke to the state president, and he very clearly said that there was no intention right now in the near future to be a part of the government formation because it was a moral stand that they had taken. Rahul Gandhi's tweet has just poured in, and if you look at the tweet, he said that, however, congratulations to Omar Abdullah, but without full statehood, it really looks incomplete, the celebrations. And we will continue our fight for that. So if the Congress would have joined the government, perhaps a battle that they were trying hard to pressurize the Modi government on in the center could have weakened. And that's the thought, perhaps, that goes behind the Congress steering away from government formation, even as there are multiple differences that have emerged between the NC and the Congress.
But are these, and just a quick follow-up to you, Mayor, on this, are these issues going to also create problems for this alliance in the future? Is this really the Congress taking a moral stand, or is this a breakdown of dialogue between NC and Congress from the get-go?
Well, already people are saying that this is the crown full of thorns as far as Omar Abdullah is concerned. This is not a normal government, and in fact, how he manages to really sail through, what will be his equation with the Lieutenant Governor, what will the power sharing model, how will he basically carry on day-to-day governance? That's the big question. Now, it seems that Congress somewhere down the line also understands that this is not the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir. These are absolutely new modalities, new power equation, and in this, it is better that the Congress stays away. That could also be a thinking. But yes, as far as messaging is concerned, definitely the local Congress wanted its representative in the cabinet, in the ministerial, as a minister, considering that they also have a constituency to satisfy. Their workers, their political constituency wanted that to happen. But it seems that the final directions have come in from the High Command, and we know that once in Congress Delhi speaks, the local unit does not have a lot of say. So it seems that way, but as we've been saying, at least 3 posts are vacant, and these things could change. But quite a few other things that could really govern this decision of the Congress, and we'll have to wait and see how Omar Abdullah manages to govern and how this government carries on with power sharing as far as the Lieutenant Governor is concerned.
It's going to be tricky, there's no doubt about that. Among a series of challenges that Omar faces is also going to be having to deal with the Congress. For now, the High Command seems to be on the same page because the Gandhis, Mallikarjun Kharge, were there for the swearing-in ceremony. Now, there's another big headline, and I'd like to thank Miriam Moshmi for joining us. There's another big headline that emerged from the swearing-in, which is that Omar Abdullah also chose to have a Deputy Chief Minister from Jammu. The NC's Jammu face was also brought in as a Deputy Chief Minister. And I'd like to bring in Pooja Shali on this. Pooja, good evening. What did you make of that particular decision? What do you think was Omar's thinking really in ensuring that, it was a more inclusive cabinet and to have a Deputy Chief Minister from Jammu?
Akshita, good evening. This is definitely a more mature Chief Minister that Omar Abdullah is now at 54 years of age. The messaging was clear that even though there have been parts of Jammu that predominantly voted for BJP, there are upper reaches that surprised even the National Conference, and they voted for the coalition or the independents who expressed support to the NC Congress. And therefore, Surendra Chaudhary from Naushera. But again, why him? Why not others who had won from the Jammu region's upper reaches? Surendra Chaudhary, the reason is one from Naushera, where he defeated Ravinder Raina of the JNK BJP, who was heading the BJP unit, by a margin of over 7,000 votes. So that, of course, in many ways, a giant killer. Second, of course, to send out a messaging that the Jammu region gets a certain representation as well already. And third and important, that Naushera voted, the turnout was about 76%. all these three combined was important. But who is Surendra Chaudhary? He, in fact, was in PDP earlier when Ravinder Raina defeated him in 2014. He then switched sides to the BJP also briefly and then joined the National Conference. So this is a reward by the NC toward this specific candidate. Also, Akshita, it's not a surprise that there's a deputy chief minister. I just want to add here, there have been deputy chief ministers earlier. The pattern usually have been a Muslim chief minister from Kashmir Valley and a Hindu deputy chief minister from Jammu region, like we have seen Jugal Kishore and Kavinder Gupta. But yes, to have it from the National Conference as a deputy from Jammu, it basically means, and I hope that it's taken into consideration, because people of Jammu region have believed they have been discriminated for very long. Akshita.
It's messaging, essentially, that's being sent across by Omar Abdullah that he is the chief minister of both Jammu and Kashmir, very fittingly. Thanks very much, Pooja, for joining us with your insights also on that. Now, we've spoken about really the Congress and how it's done in Jammu and Kashmir. In Jammu and Kashmir and in Haryana, of course, the Congress's performance is something that will weigh in Maharashtra as well. And we'll talk about what's happening in Maharashtra. But let's also right now focus on what lessons the Congress has really learned from Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir that will perhaps help them in the Maharashtra battle. One is, of course, that they can't completely rely on their allies to perform. They have to pull their own weight. Case in point, Jammu and Kashmir, because right now it's the NC that's calling the shots in Kashmir. They won't want to repeat of that in Maharashtra, where it's, of course, a much larger alliance also. They also have realized that they have to localize the election and not rely on a national narrative. This is something that came up earlier also in the Congress huddle that took place to discuss the Maharashtra elections. And this was a takeaway essentially from Haryana, where largely there were overall issues discussed, but not issues that concerned the people of Haryana. Can't take victory for granted, of course, like what happened in Haryana, where they had all of these rigged polls suggesting to the High Command that they had this one in the bag. They were winning Haryana, and then we all saw what happened. So in Maharashtra, they'll try to ensure that they're not overconfident. Ticket distribution, a crucial part of every election. They will have to ensure that this time around the local leadership knows exactly who are the strongest faces in each seat, in each region, and that there's no backlash, there's no rebel crisis like, again, in Haryana. They can't completely rely only on guarantees to sail through. It's helped in some states, but it's not always the go-to formula. They are going to need to figure out a lot more than just a caste factor and guarantees. And these are learnings that the Congress is taking forward into Maharashtra as well. Let's get you a quick update of what's happening in Haryana. Jammu and Kashmir swearing-in ceremony done. Tomorrow, Nayab Singh Saini will take oath as the Haryana Chief Minister once again. Today, formally, he was elected as the BJP's legislature party leader and is all set to take oath as the chief minister for the second term tomorrow. In a meeting of the Haryana BJP legislature party in Panchkula, party MLAs, as expected, endorsed his name. Importantly, this meeting was attended by Home Minister Amit Shah. Why? Because he's actually been appointed as an observer by the BJP. Now, you can imagine how much importance the BJP is giving to the swearing-in ceremony, that Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, top leader of the BJP, has been flown down to Haryana to coordinate and ensure everything goes smoothly. Besides him, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Mohan Yadav is also the other central observer. So it was in their presence that Saini was chosen by party MLAs. Saini, remember, had replaced Khattar, now a union minister, as the chief minister of Haryana a few months ago in March. He was then seen as a surprise pick to head the party in Haryana, but clearly the bet has paid off for the BJP.
हरियाणा नए चुने हुए विधायक दल की बैठक हुई, उसमें सर्वानुमत एक ही प्रस्ताव मिला है, जो किशन कुमार रेड्डी जी और अनिल विज जी ने रखा। हमारे पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री श्री नायब सिंह जी का, मैं नायब सिंह जी को विधायक दल के नेता के रूप में चुना हुआ और आप सभी बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ। और सैनी साहब को मुझे आगे आइए बस।
तमाम हमारे सांसदगण हरियाणा के उन सब का भी दिल से धन्यवाद करता हूं कि जो दिन रात कड़ी मेहनत करके और हमारी डबल इंजन की सरकार नीतियों को जन जन तक पहुंचाने का काम किया है। और इतना बड़ा विश्वास जो हरियाणा की जनता ने आज तीसरी बार कंटिन्यूटी के अंदर ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी के ऊपर किया है, ये विश्वास ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी की नीतियों का विश्वास है, जो हरियाणा के लोगों की अपेक्षा है। आदरणीय अमित शाह जी, ये पूरी टीम उस अपेक्षा के ऊपर खरा उतरेगी। आदरणीय मोदी जी और आपके सपनों को जो भारत आप बनाना चाह रहे हैं, उस भारत को बनाने में हम कृत संकल्प होते हुए आगे बढ़ने का काम करेंगे।
Okay, let's bring in Asim Basti for a quick update on the grand swearing-in ceremony that's planned tomorrow. The BJP, Asim, pulling all stops for the mega oath-taking ceremony. Prime Minister Modi is going to be there. We understand all NDA chief ministers will also be coming together.
Yeah, because BJP struck a hat-trick in Haryana, and this is why they want to celebrate it big. Today, Naib Saini was made, he was announced as the legislative party leader of the BJP, making him the next chief minister. So tomorrow there's a swearing-in ceremony, and the BJP is holding a gala event in Panchkula, where the Dussehra ground has been booked in Sector 5. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and a battery of chief ministers of the NDA will be flying into Panchkula to witness the swearing-in ceremony. It will be a historical occasion because it has happened very rarely that the government has repeated thrice. So Naib Singh Saini government has done wonders. They changed the game. Entire election they changed it. Naib Saini led it from the front, and this is the reason that BJP wants to give a strong message. Around 50,000 people will be gathered over there, and yes, the NDA chief ministers are coming, and after the oath ceremony, the Prime Minister is going to hold a crucial meeting with the NDA chief ministers also in Panchkula.
Okay, all right, Asim. Thanks very much for joining us with those details. We'll be connecting with you tomorrow as well when we count down to the swearing-in ceremony here on India Today. The BJP is celebrating their hat-trick in Haryana with a mega swearing-in ceremony that will see 50,000 people in attendance, including, of course, Prime Minister Modi and the top chief ministers of the NDA. It's the same old story once again in Bengaluru of rainfall leading to an unprecedented deluge. Yes, we will say that it's been unprecedented rainfall too. But once again, the reason you see these images coming in from Bengaluru is encroachments and the fact that there's been no crackdown on it. For example, the very, very popular Manyata Tech Park was completely submerged, completely underwater, because this was once an area where there was a lake. It's back to a lake essentially now with the kind of images that have come in. Let's begin with a ground report filed by my colleagues on ground.
Streets flooded, IT parks waterlogged, commuters stranded, apartment basements flooded. This was Bengaluru on Wednesday. Hours of heavy rainfall crippled life in India's IT city for 2 consecutive days. The Karnataka government announced a holiday for all schools and colleges on Wednesday. The city's civic body, BBMP, along with disaster management officials, used a tractor to move stranded residents from an apartment in Yelahanka. The entire complex was flooded, making it impossible for residents to move out.
We are at Kendriya Bihar apartment near Yelahanka. Due to heavy rains from past 2 to 3 days, and the houses are flooded up to knee level. As we speak now, you can see the residents have been rescued through tractors and have been taken to safer places. There is a lake adjacent to this particular apartment, probably a man-made disaster which allows flooding in this particular area.
It is flooding from last month, from 2 weeks past, because the compound wall is broken. Outside the compound wall is a lake. Height of the Kogulu lake is more than the apartment's compound wall.
It's been often since it's flooded. It's always the same thing. It's never changing. I don't know what they'll do.
Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar has cautioned citizens to remain vigilant amidst the heavy rains.
We will sort out whatever the problems are there, we'll sort out. There is no problem in it. We are already on the job. We'll see that there will be no problems on drainage, sewage, power supply, traffic and all. We are managing it.
The Phoenix Mall of Asia, located in the same area, was also waist deep in water. The Manyata Tech Park was also flooded due to the incessant downpour. Many companies on the 300-acre campus instructed employees to stay in their offices and wait for the water to clear out. A section at a construction site in Manyata Tech Park caved in. Heavy rains washed out the second session of the opening test between India and New Zealand in Bengaluru. The weather department has predicted more rainfall on Thursday and Friday.
The opposition in the state have also criticized Karnataka government the mismanagement of rescue operation during the rains. While Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar has slammed opposition, stating that they are trying to defame brand Bengaluru and the government is capable enough to handle the heavier rain than this. With your Madhu Sagaraj reporting for India Today, Bengaluru.
Okay, let's take this across quickly to Sagaraj, who's joining us live from Bengaluru for an update from the ground on what's the current situation. Sagai, hopefully authorities have been able to drain off all of that water, but there will be a question about whether a solution has been found. You know, some of the images that you've shown us, your ground reports, we're talking about the biggest tech parks, the biggest malls, all underwater.
Absolutely, and thankfully there is no rain from post 3 o'clock, and this has helped for the rescue operation. And if you're talking about the mall, if you're talking about Kendriya Vihar, all these places are constructed either adjacent to lake or on the lake. And if you notice Kendriya Vihar, it is close to the buffer zone. There is a buffer zone which doesn't allow you to construct any kind of building or any kind of structure, but still they have violated and constructed. 3 sides of that particular building, you have lake. On the other side, you have a stormwater drain. They have constructed in between 3 lakes and a stormwater drain. And that is the reason every time when there are heavy rains, there is a flooding which happens. And talking about Manyata Tech Park, adjacent to Manyata Tech Park, you have a Lumbini Garden lake. And what we get to learn is that much before Manyata Tech Park was constructed, there was allegedly lake on that particular place. So nature finds its way when there are heavy rains like this to cross the same place where it actually should be a lake. So this clearly shows that these are man-made disasters. The government is promising every now and then, especially when it comes to Kendriya Vihar, I have reported close to 4 to 5 times, the politicians promising that they will try to do some kind of construction work to ensure that there will not be any kind of flooding. But still, next year, you find these kind of flooding happen when there is little bit of heavy rains.
Empty promises and nothing beyond that. Thanks, Sagai, for joining us with those details. For now, the water's been drained off, which means it's a problem that's forgotten for the authorities for the moment. Never really a long-term solution that's found. Now, it's the same weather system that's wreaked havoc in Bengaluru that also led to heavy rains in the city of Chennai. Today, largely, the city of Chennai has been dry, but the aftermath of yesterday's rains meant several areas were waterlogged. The Tamil Nadu government has promised that they've taken all necessary steps to be fully prepared for the monsoon.
Heavy rain slashed several parts of the city yesterday, but on the night there was not much rain because of that. Several places where there was waterlogging, water has receded, but there are actually after effects of the rain and relief camps. Many things have been placed already to provide kind of people with relief. But what happened here is that this is a location in Amajikarai where one of the construction sites which actually became weak that you see over there, the compound wall actually broke, and because of that, another apartment that is adjacent to this particular site, the actual base foundation has developed a major scary crack that you see over there. This is a crack that is in a place called the C block of this particular area. This is an apartment in Amajikarai. This is a crack it actually developed, and here you can actually see a kind of like space between the main pillar of this place and the other one. This has scared the people at this residence, and this is something right now the actual people who are constructing that area, they have said they are working on it, but how are they going to perform it? We're not exactly sure, because on one side you have the Kuvam water body, and this particular building is being constructed very close to that water body. How is it allowed? We are not exactly sure, but they are making a major construction next to a water body, and because of this particular rain, there was no fire. Like since the mud and everything from that foundation was removed, this actual compound wall developed a major crack.
We are currently reporting from Pattalam in North Chennai. Chennai received heavy rains yesterday, and because of that, several areas in the city are waterlogged. Though the situation is much better today, thanks to the long break in rains, there are areas such as these where there's still waterlogging, and Pattalam is a low-lying area, and every time it rains heavily in the city, this is one location where there's waterlogging, and it takes a lot of time for this water to completely drain out. But in several other parts of the city where we saw massive inundation yesterday, the situation is much better. Things have almost come back to normal in other parts of the city, but there are still pockets such as these where there's waterlogging, and it's taking time for the water to drain out because these are essentially low-lying areas. So you can see from the visuals as well, this is a temple here, and these are kids from the locality who are of course taking this holiday that they've got because educational institutions have been given a holiday by the government in view of the heavy rains alert. So all of them taking this day out to enjoy, even though water has sort of entered their homes and this entire locality is waterlogged. The government of course says things are slowly coming back to normal. Most places it's dry now, but there are people who are living in camps, and food of course is also a problem for some of them. So all of that is being provided, and thanks to the respite in the rains, because the depression has travelled towards the South Andhra Pradesh coast, there is some respite from the rains as far as Chennai is concerned, and that is the biggest relief at this point in time. And we are currently reporting from Pattalam where things are yet to come back to normal, but government says within few hours, now that the rains have stopped, they're expecting things to come back to normal very, very soon. With video journalist Divyan, this is Shilpa Nair in Chennai for India Today.
இதுக்கான ஏற்பாடெல்லாம் நாங்கள் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். இதுக்கான ஏற்பாடெல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். திருப்புகழ்னு ஒரு ஓய்வு பெற்ற ஐஏஎஸ் அதிகாரி தலைமையில் நாங்கள் ஒரு கமிட்டி போட்டு இது நாங்கள் ஆட்சிக்கு வந்தப்போவே அதற்கான பணியில் இறங்கணும். இப்போ அந்த இது கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். ஒரே டேயாக பண்ணி முடிக்க முடியாது. அது ஓரளவுக்கு முடிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கு. இன்னும் ஒரு 25-30% பாக்கி இருக்கிறதுனால இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல அதையும் முடிச்சிடுவோம்.
And let's tell you about the situation currently in Andhra Pradesh. South Andhra in particular was badly affected by heavy rains. Parts like Nellore, there was heavy inundation. That was reported. Apurva Jayachandran filed these ground reports.
With heavy rains lashing across Nellore, Chittor and other districts here in Andhra Pradesh, rehabilitation centers and camps have been set up by the Andhra Pradesh state government. We are in fact here at Ranganayakupeta in Nellore district, where as you can see, this is one of the rehabilitation centers where we have arrived at, where not only have several people who have been living in low-lying areas been brought here for safety, but also food, water and other medical necessities have also been supplied for the people by the district administration. Roughly around 13 to 14 rehabilitation camps have been set up here in Nellore by the municipal corporation there to ensure that the public there do not go hungry. All of them, food, water and other necessity measures have been provided. With video journalist Prasad at Nellore, Apurva Jayachandran, India Today. With heavy rains lashing across various districts here in Andhra Pradesh as a cyclone is emerging, several measures have been brought out by the Nellore Corporation to ensure that there is no waterlogging in and around these areas. We're here in Nellore where not only since the last 12 hours there has been torrential rainfall that has been lashing across the districts here, but also the district administration is going on and taking all kind of measures with heavy machinery that is being deployed in and around these areas to ensure that there is no kind of inundation around the district as well. The IMD predicting heavy to very heavy rainfall in and around these districts for the next 24 to 48 hours. Not only has there been the district corporations that have been put on high alert, but also the state government that is monitoring all of the preparations that are underway to ensure that with the heavy rains lashing across southern Andhra Pradesh, people and the livelihoods are not affected. With video journalist Prasad at Nellore, Apurva Jayachandran, India.
And Let's get you a news spray coming in on the Karnataka Valmiki scam that led to, once again, a political war of words in the state between the Congress and the BJP. The accused, former Karnataka Minister B. Nagendra, has levelled a big charge. Speaking to India Today, he claims that the entire scam is a ploy made up by the BJP, and he's even claimed that the ED forced him to name Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. Listen in to what the former Karnataka minister is now out on bail had to say.
BJP people involved in this case, they wanted to de-establish the government here in Karnataka. That's why they are arrested me from the ED people.
Sir, there were reports that during your stay at the ED, they have coerced you into taking CM's name. Is that true?
Yes. They are forced me to tell the CM's name and DCM's name.
The ED people.
And amid the showdown over the Waqf bill and the entire debate over Waqf properties, the AIUDF chief Badruddin Ajmal has now made a claim saying that the new parliament has been built on Waqf land in Delhi. Now, Badruddin Ajmal has said that the parliament has been made on Waqf property. While he's opposed the Waqf bill, he's also said that we will move court now on this issue. But this is a big claim being made now, where he says the new parliament building actually stands on Waqf land. This comes, of course, amid a slew of such controversies and similar claims being made, where some of your biggest buildings, some of your most important heritage monuments are also allegedly on Waqf property, or at least these are the claims being made, much like now what Badruddin Ajmal has said.
जो दिल्ली है, दिल्ली में बहुत सारा जमीन कहा जाता है कि वक्फ के अंदर आता है। आधा दिल्ली पार्लियामेंट भी का जमीन भी आता है। ये
मैंने कहा कि हमें मालूम पड़ा है, इसके बारे में रिसर्च आप लोग भी करिए, हम भी करेंगे, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि वो सही निकलेगा, झूठ नहीं निकलेगा।
मतलब
पार्लियामेंट के बिल्डिंग जो पूरा स्ट्रक्चर बनाया गया, उसके वो वक्फ बोर्ड के जमीन के ऊपर बनाया गया।